Chapter 21 Get a Seal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, noontime, something big seemed to have happened in Notting College, and many students rushed to the playground. A circle of people formed on the playground, with Xiao Wu standing in the center with a lollipop in her mouth, looking at the tall and powerful senior student across from him. He was completely unafraid and had the aura that no one could stop him. Next to them stood the work-study students from Qixia. And Tang San was also squeezing in from the outside. Ye Qiu, who came in through the gate, felt indescribably refreshed. This time the soul hunting went more smoothly than he imagined. Not long after entering the soul hunting forest, he and Director Su encountered a 400-year-old powerful gorilla, which was just right for him. Director Shu is not like Yu Xiaojiang, who is still very capable in fighting. Ye Qiu only needs to be responsible for the quack. After absorbing the soul ring, Ye Qiu has become a level 12 combat soul master. The soul skills he obtained also made Ye Qiu a little overjoyed, and he couldn't wait to try it with Xiao Wu. At this time, he had completed the soul master appraisal in the Wuhuan Hall, and also obtained a higher level certificate of being a member of the Wuhuan Hall from Matthew Noah. He held a gold soul coin in his arms and a smile on his face. With this soul master subsidy, he would no longer have to work as a work-study student. Anyone who likes to do the cleaning work can do it. Click. After a while, Ye Qiu came to Qixia and looked at the empty dormitory. Ye Qiu didn't find it strange either. Along the way, he already understood what was happening. There is no need to join in on this excitement. Anyway, Xiaodan could control them, and he only needed to keep control of this rogue rabbit. It seems that Tang San, who has been entangled with blue and silver that will follow him for the rest of his life, must have already arrived there. Ye Qiu hit the quilt hard, turned over and started to rest. I didn't sleep well at night, got up early during the day, and traveled a lot. He was already a little tired, and before he knew it, he fell asleep. Ye Qiu. That I don't know how much time passed. Ye Qiu squinted his eyes, and while he was half asleep and half awake, a sudden voice came to his ears. Subconsciously, he raised his hand to rub his eyes, and happened to see a cute face. Xiao Wu looked down at Ye Qiu. Her lips were red and there was excitement on her face, and she licked the corners of her mouth. He reached out and poked Ye Qiu's face. Going to bed so early? Can you still sleep at night? Ye Qiu slapped her hand away, yawned and rolled his eyes. Do you think I can sleep well at night? Xiao Wu's face turned red. When she woke up every morning, her whole body had already rolled over to Ye Qiu's side. Looking at her rosy little face, Ye Qiu really wanted to hold it and take a bite, so as to give him his first kiss in his life, also give this rabbit a stamp of approval. After thinking about it, I endured it. He just stretched out his hand and pinched her hot, silky face, leaving some red marks. Ye Qiu, what are you doing? Xiao Wu shyly slapped Ye Qiu's hand away and looked at him angrily. Huh? Ye Qiu looked at Xiao Wu, who suddenly became hardened, and slowly stood up. After looking around, it seemed that only Tang San was not in the dormitory. He must have gone to the spirit hall to register after the fight. Xiao Wu put her hands on her waist and said proudly, I am now the Xiao Wu sister of the entire academy. Amazing, right? So you are not allowed to touch me. Even if this is the case, it's not a reason for you, a rogue rabbit, to cross the line. Ye Qiu chuckled and didn't care too much about her, just pointed down. At this time, Xiao Wu was kneeling and sitting on the dividing line between the two beds. Ah! Don't call me a rogue rabbit. Xiao Wu angrily covered Ye Qiu's mouth and snorted, so what if I cross the line? I am a girl, you should let me go, right? Of course, you must not cross the line. Whatever you want. Ye Qiu took her little hand away and said nonchalantly, since it wasn't him who suffered anyway. However, Ye Qiu was a little unhappy when she was dragged like this, as if she didn't know what was going on. He took her two little hands, held them in his palms, and slowly used some strength. Slowly he came closer to Xiao Wu, their noses almost touching. What are you going to do? Xiao Wu was a little scared when she saw that Ye Qiu suddenly became expressionless and still grabbed her hand tightly. Have you forgotten what you promised me before? Ye Qiu sneered at the corner of his mouth, with a threat in his eyes. No, Sister Xiao Wu will be obedient. After Xiao Wu said, her eyes drifted to both sides, fearing that her image as Sister Xiao Wu would collapse. Really? Ye Qiu looked at Xiao Wu in front of him, who was tender and ready to cry, with a flushed face. The idea of stamping that had just arisen arose again. Yes, I will be obedient. Xiao Wu nodded in a panic. That's good. Ye Qiu said softly, looking at those gorgeous red lips, I couldn't help myself, so I leaned over and took a sip. It was like soft pudding, with a faint fragrance, and actually had a hint of sweetness, as well as a touch of grass. Ye Qiu, who originally enjoyed it quite a bit, frowned. This sweetness seemed a bit familiar. Xiao Wu was stunned, her crimson eyes slightly absent-minded, feeling Ye Qiu's breathing, his red lips were pursed, and he slowly squirmed. His body trembled a little, and his face, ears, and even neck were all covered in a layer of pink. After a brief taste, leaving a little crystal clear, Ye Qiu let her go. After watching Ye Qiu's face move away blankly, Xiao Wu finally reacted. What? A belated scream resounded throughout Qisha. Xiao Wu's small chest rose and fell, and she looked at Ye Qiu in disbelief. Her brain seemed to have shut down, and she was a little incoherent. Ye Qiu, why do you and me? Looking at the cuter Xiao Wu in front of him, Ye Qiu's face also showed a slightly embarrassed red color. Fortunately, this is Douluo continent. This is punishment, yes, punishment for yelling at me. Ye Qiu said as if he had found an excuse, then he slowly lay down, turned sideways, and closed his eyes. You! How could you do this? Xiao Wu knelt down on the bed, her heart filled with shame and anger. She gritted her teeth and looked at Ye Qiu, feeling a bit at a loss. Sister Xiao Wu, what's wrong with you? Hearing the voice and noticing that Xiao Wu's expression was abnormal, Wang Xing hurried over and looked at Xiao Wu curiously. Could it be that you were injured before? It's nothing. How could Sister Xiao Wu be injured? Xiao Wu quickly collected her emotions and wiped her mouth with her sleeve. Then why is your face so red, Sister Xiao Wu? I am hot. Xiao Wujiao shouted, her eyes dodged a little, and then she lay down. Don't bother Sister Xiao Wu, Sister Xiao Wu needs to rest. That when Wang Xing saw this, he just thought that she was a little tired when she obtained the soul ring. Xiao Wu lay with her back to Ye Qiu, stroking her red lips with her slender hands, feeling a little distracted. If it had been anyone else, maybe he would have waited on him with a bow, but he was not very angry when facing Ye Qiu. I don't know if he didn't dare. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 22 10,000 Phases Contract. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Night covers the earth. Ever since Ye Qiu kissed Xiao Wu, the two of them hadn't spoken a word from noon to dinner time. Every time they looked at each other, Xiao Wu would dodge. By this time it was getting dark, including Tang San and Ye Qiu. All the work-study students sat cross-legged on the bed and began to practice. Only Xiao Wu, she is the incarnation of a soul beast. It seems that there is no need to practice at all. He was lying on the quilt, looking at Ye Qiu. His face was rosy, and he didn't know what he was thinking. Ye Qiu meditates with his eyes closed. Suddenly, I felt someone pulling on my sleeve, which made me unable to concentrate well. Open one's eyes. What caught the eye was Xiao Wu's pretty face. Doing what? Ye Qiu raised his eyebrows and looked at her strangely. Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu called softly, her face turned red with embarrassment. She pulled his sleeves, lowered her head, and said in a voice like a mosquito, Why did you kiss me? After saying that, he raised his head slightly and looked at Ye Qiu doubtfully. She still couldn't think clearly. Ye Qiu tilted his head and looked at her strangely. Didn't I say it before? It was to punish you. What? Do you have any objections? Saying that, Ye Qiu moved his face towards him again. Don't come over. Xiao Wu's eyes flashed with panic. She pushed Ye Qiu's face with her two little hands and leaned back. If you dare to do that again, Sister Xiao Wu will beat you up. Xiao Wu's eyes widened, but she couldn't hide the shyness and panic hidden inside. Hit me. Do you dare? Ye Qiu smiled softly and sat up straight again. Xiao Wu was stunned for a moment, and then quickly remembered what Ye Qiu had said before. Didn't you say before that I could challenge you? Sister Xiao Wu will challenge you now. Xiao Wu looked at Ye Qiu seriously and touched her hot little face. Forget what happened before. If I beat you, you are not allowed to do that casually. Okay. Ye Qiu did not refuse, and he just wanted to try his soul skills, not to mention, Xiao Wu's third soul skill, teleportation, and her fourth soul skill, invincible golden body, are both very good. Moreover, her potential is not bad. As long as she follows the steps and does not die prematurely, she will at least be a title Douluo. It's not a loss at all to give her a position. After the words fell, Ye Qiu got out of bed first, put on his coat and walked outside. Ye Qiu, wait a minute, Sister Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu watched him walk out and quickly jumped out of bed, put on his shoes and followed Ye Qiu quickly with small steps. On the bed, Tang San opened his eyes, looked at the two people's retreating figures, and shook his head helplessly. He already knew that Ye Qiu had also obtained the first soul ring, but he still didn't know what his strength was. Outside Qixia, next to a flower bed in the distance, cultivation in Tianhe has become a tradition for soul masters, and the entire Nodding College is silent. Ye Qiu and Xiao Wu stood opposite each other, looking at Ye Qiu who was motionless. Xiao Wu looked at him in confusion. Ye Qiu, are you going to fight or not? Of course I have to fight, but before that, I need you to do me a small favor. Ye Qiu walked towards Xiao Wu with a faint smile on his face. Help. What do you want me to do for you? Xiao Wu looked at Ye Qiu, who was standing in front of her, with a bit of fear in her eyes. The last time she helped, her identity was exposed, and now she still has a shadow. When Ye Qiu walked up to Xiao Wu, a yellow soul ring had already spread out under his feet. Don't worry, this favor is very simple, as long as you help me activate my first soul skill. After saying that, the yellow soul ring at Ye Qiu's feet flashed and suddenly appeared in Ye Qiu's hands, as if holding a golden jade plate. Ye Qiu's palm is in the center. Xiao Wu looked at this strange scene with suspicion on her face. Do you still need to activate the soul skills? Maybe my martial spirit is special. Ye Qiu smiled lightly. How's it going? Can you help me? Xiao Wu pondered for a moment, stretched out a palm, and nodded lightly. Of course I can help you, but you have to give me 5 lollipops as payment. No problem. Ye Qiu agreed. Then what should I do? Or put my hand up? Correct. After Ye Qiu finished speaking, Xiao Wu saw his little hand moving towards the center of the jade plate. Their palms overlapped. The warm and comfortable feeling made Xiao Wu's face turn red. In the eyes of the two people, the yellow soul ring suddenly put it on Xiao Wu's arm. Don't resist. Okay. Xiao Wu nodded slightly. She didn't even think about resisting. Now she seemed to be bathing in the warm sunshine, and her whole body was warm. As the yellow soul ring wandered, the two people's consciousnesses were linked together again. After looking through her recent memories, Ye Qiu's mouth twitched slightly, Xiao Wu's body also trembled, and she looked at Ye Qiu with a hint of shyness and fear on her face. At this time, Xiao Wu's entire arm had been put on the mecha, followed by her shoulders, neck, and body. Unknowingly, Xiao Wu has been possessed by a martial spirit. 2 tender pink rabbit ears stood up high and swayed slightly in the wind. A small ball of white and pink tail popped out from the lower back. A mechanical sound rang out, and Xiao Wu's all-purpose armor had completely covered Xiao Wu, and Xiao Wu's yellow soul ring slowly rose. Ye Qiu's soul ring overlapped with hers, and then separated again. Xiao Wu just felt like she was being looked down upon. The soul ring did not pause, but slowly returned to Ye Qiu along the way it came. At the same time, the mecha on Xiao Wu's body also slowly melted away. When the soul ring returned to Ye Qiu's feet, Ye Qiu looked at the small words on the virtual screen that said the contract was established and the restoration was successful, and he couldn't help but feel happy on his face. His martial spirit only has one soul skill, called Wanxiang contract. Every time you get a soul ring, you will get a contract, Wanxiang, that is, the appearance of all things. His all-purpose armor takes on the shape of someone else and uses someone else's soul skills, but it can only copy the opponent's current soul skill. In other words, every time Xiao Wu obtains a new soul skill, he has to merge with her again. In addition, if Ye Qiu at this time established a contract with a title Douluo, then he can only use the opponent's first soul skill. In other words, even if you have the opponent's data, you cannot use soul skills that exceed the number of your own soul rings. who could have imagined how excited he would be when he found out about the effects of his soul skills. Doesn't this mean, can he be a hexagon fighter? He can handle any control system, agility attack system, or even auxiliary system, but what excited Ye Qiu the most, it should be the upper limit that one's own martial spirit can reach. As long as he can become a god, and the contractor also becomes a god, wouldn't he be equivalent to the 11 gods? How outrageous this is! Of course, the premise is that the contract partner has the potential to become a god. Therefore, Ye Qiu is also very particular about the contract partner. Look at this Douluo continent. Now that I am here, the two people who will definitely become gods are Bibi Dong and her daughter. Bibi Dong is already taking the divine examination, and Qian Renxue is the only Qianjia bloodline who is now qualified to take the angel divine examination. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 23 Ye Qiu's Waist Bow. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at Ye Qiu, who was full of joy, Xiao Wu was still a little confused. 2 arms hugged her small body, her pretty face was red. He pulled Ye Qiu next to him twice and looked at him uncertainly. Ye Qiu, why do I feel like I've lost something? Huh? Ye Qiu put away the unrealistic thoughts in his heart. He turned to look at Xiao Wu, with a strange smile on his lips, and grabbed one of her catkins. He joked, "You rogue rabbit," started shouting to catch the thief first. It's obviously me who lost the thing, right? Ah. I'm just. Xiao Wu seemed to have been stepped on, and wanted to take her hand back in a panic, but couldn't say anything. What are you? No wonder my little mouth was so sweet when we kissed you today. Ah. Don't talk about this. You are the gangster. Xiao Wu blushed and wanted to cover Ye Qiu's mouth. Can't we just treat Sister Xiao Wu as getting paid in advance? No more talking. Haha. Okay. Ye Qiu let go of his little hand without embarrassing her too much. Then I don't need to pay you. What? Xiao Wu, who had just withdrawn his hand, took 2 steps back and rubbed his little hands, suddenly exclaimed. Her crimson eyes widened, her slender eyebrows stood up, and she said, "Jiao Zha, why? Sister Xiao Wu just took 2 grass-flavored ones from you. You have to give Sister Xiao Wu 3 more. Are you still justified in taking my things? I and you were not in the college at that time. When you came back, I wanted to tell you, but I woke you up. You did that to me." Xiao Wu's face turned red, and when she looked at Ye Qiu, her eyes flashed with shame and anger. Ye Qiu smiled twice. It was true what Xiao Wu said. He knew all her little thoughts. Okay. I can give you 3 more carrot-flavored lollipops. Really? Xiao Wu's eyes lit up and she looked at Ye Qiu in surprise. Of course it's true, but only if you beat me. How about it? Ye Qiu nodded, then stretched out his hand to challenge her twice with a face full of teasing. Okay. Sister Xiao Wu can definitely win. Xiao Wu looked happy. She was still very confident in her own strength, but then she thought of something and put her hands behind her back, covering her butt. However, you can't cling to Sister Xiao Wu like you did last time, and you can't hit me here either. Don't worry, I won't hug you, and I won't spank you anymore. Ye Qiu nodded seriously. Then are your soul skills ready? Xiao Wu asked again doubtfully. Ye Qiu smiled mysteriously. It's ready, let's start now. It is good. As soon as the words fell, a yellow soul ring immediately appeared at Xiao Wu's feet, spinning, with 2 tender pink rabbit ears on her head, a small tail on her lower back, and her figure became much taller. On the other hand, Ye Qiu's soul ring just flashed under his feet, and blue stripes quickly covered his body. From top to bottom, there are 2 sharp rabbit ears made of steel, and a long whip like a scorpion's tail grows from behind. The eyes turn crimson, and the original blue lines on the mecha's body are all revealed with a hint of pink. Ye Qiu only felt that this mecha was much lighter than the previous one, and the internal structure had also changed slightly. The strength of the legs and waist was much stronger. Huh? Xiao Wu looked at Ye Qiu, who was inexplicably familiar in front of her, and asked in confusion, "How did you become like this?" "Because you helped me activate the first soul skill." Ye Qiu's mechanical voice came out, his glowing eyes stared at Xiao Wu, and he could even judge her next move to a certain extent. After obtaining the Soul Ring, the Wanxiang armor's dynamic vision capturing ability has also become much stronger. Okay, it's about to begin. Ye Qiu shouted excitedly and immediately rushed towards Xiao Wu. Like Xiao Wu, she raised her legs like a split, and her cold, hard toes poked Xiao Wu's chin. Xiao Wu's expression changed. She saw this familiar move but had no time to think about it. He immediately leaned back, put his little hands on the ground, and did a backflip. After dodging Ye Qiu's attack, he quickly squatted down to the ground, put his hands on the ground, and kicked Ye Qiu's calf with both jade feet. Seeing this, Ye Qiu used his legs to do a somersault, and struck Xiao Wu on the head with his heel like a battle axe. Bang! There was a muffled sound. Ye Qiu's body shook twice, the ground beneath his feet cracked, and Xiao Wu rolled away in embarrassment. After just a few moves, Xiao Wu's eyes were filled with surprise. The moves Ye Qiu used seemed to be exactly the same as her soft skills. Little rabbit, you've rolled over like this. You have to take a bath again later, otherwise you don't want to go to bed. Shut up and don't call me rabbit. Watch Sister Xiao Wu deal with you. Xiao Wu immediately stood up, sprinted twice, stepped on the flower bed, and then struck Ye Qiu with a scissor kick. Hee hee. Ye Qiu snickered secretly. After climbing a few steps on the big tree next to him, he also used a scissor kick to kick Xiao Wu. Boom. The two kicked their right feet together in the air. Xiao Wu looked at Ye Qiu, her face flushed, her eyes filled with confusion. She finally knew what she had lost. As for Ye Qiu, who was wearing a mecha, his expression was invisible. After looking at each other, Ye Qiu kicked off his right foot, and both of them flew out. After a few rolls in the air, they squatted firmly on the ground. Ye Qiu, you actually secretly learned my jujitsu. Xiao Wu was so angry that her teeth started to itch. It seems you are not stupid either. Ye Qiu stood up and stretched his body. You are stupid. Sister Xiao Wu, you are not stupid enough to see that Sister Xiao Wu beats you all over the floor and leaves you with teeth. Huh. Saying that, Xiao Wu immediately approached Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu, on the other hand, stood still. Xiao Wu's first soul skill could only be used at close range to cause damage to the enemy. It was precisely because he understood this that he waited here for Xiao Wu to come to his door. Seeing Xiao Wu coming in front of him, Ye Qiu was about to punch. Xiao Wu just turned his body slightly and walked around behind Ye Qiu. A scorpion braid has also wrapped around Ye Qiu's neck. The rabbit's legs had already kicked Ye Qiu's ass. Just when Xiao Wu wanted to use this as a fulcrum to use her belt to move her braids to give Ye Qiu a hard knock. What that she herself screamed first. The steel scorpion tail on the back of Ye Qiu's head had also wrapped around her neck, and he also kicked Xiao Wu's soft ass with one foot. Ye Qiu, don't even think about it. Xiao Wu reacted immediately. The soul ring under her feet lit up, and her waist strength increased by 100%. Ye Qiu was about to be thrown high into the air immediately. Waist bow. At the same time, a mechanical sound sounded. Xiao Wu rolled her eyes and looked at Ye Qiu above her head, with a look of endless horror on her face, because it was not Ye Qiu who flew up, but herself. Seeing that the ground was right in front of him, he had to come into direct contact with the ground. Xiao Wu couldn't help shouting and closed her eyes. Puff. Ye Qiu held her sideways with both hands, looking at Xiao Wu who was still closing his eyes, moving his hands and feet wildly, and yelling, feeling a little speechless. Silly rabbit, have you had enough? Xiao Wu was stunned for a moment. Her little hands kept groping tentatively, but instead of touching the ground, she touched hard, cold iron lumps. Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu lay in Ye Qiu's arms, turned over and looked at Ye Qiu who had taken off his mask. I saw that his face was a little dark. This rogue rabbit touched him randomly, which really made people angry. What? Ye Qiu didn't say anything, but let go of his hand, and Xiao Wu's but came into close contact with the ground. It hurts. Xiao Wu sat on the ground, covering her butt and frowning, with tears glistening in the corners of her eyes. Ye Qiu, why did you leave Miss Wu? Ye Qiu released his martial spirit and knelt down to look at Xiao Wu. Who told you to touch it just now? You rogue bunny. There's no such thing as touching. You're a gangster. You're actually a relative. Xiao Wu pouted, frowned, and pulled Ye Qiu's collar. Hell me up quickly. Okay. Ye Qiu nodded and picked her up again, as expected of a soft-bone rabbit. It has an extremely soft body and a pleasant fragrance. I asked you to pull me up, not to hug me. Xiao Wu said shyly. Then I'll let go. No, don't let go. Upon hearing this, Xiao Wu immediately hugged Ye Qiu's neck, fearing that her butt would suffer again. Okay, then I won't let you go. Ye Qiu smiled softly, looking at the frightened and fragile little rabbit on his face, which can easily arouse people's protective desire. Why are you looking at me like this? Xiao Wu lowered her eyes and asked in a low voice. What should I do if I suddenly want to bite you again? Ye Qiu lowered his head and moved toward Xiao Wu. What? No. Although Sister Xiao Wu lost, you can't bully me like that. The other sisters Xiao Wu will be obedient. They just can't kiss me anymore. Xiao Wu bit her red lips, pushed Ye Qiu's face away, and looked at him seriously, tears in her eyes almost turning into beads. Okay, don't look at me so pitifully. Don't worry, I won't bully you like that again. Ye Qiu nodded. The future is long, and he is not in a hurry about it, as long as she doesn't get involved with Tang San. After receiving his assurance, Xiao Wu felt a little relieved and lay obediently in Ye Qiu's arms. Ye Qiu also walked slowly towards the direction of Qixia. Speaking of which, Ye Qiu, how do you know my jutsu skills? You seem to even know my soul skills. Xiao Wu looked at Ye Qiu in surprise. Grab my hand. Ye Qiu didn't bother to say more and just let her see. Xiao Wu hesitated for a moment, then intertwined their fingers with Ye Qiu. After learning about Ye Qiu's ability, he stared at Ye Qiu blankly, unable to regain his consciousness for a long time. How about it? From now on, whatever you can do, I can do, but you can't beat me. Ye Qiu looked at Xiao Wu's dazed look in his arms and felt proud. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 24 White Wolf with Empty Gloves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Ye Qiu's words, Xiao Wu's expression changed. Humph. At worst, Sister Xiao Wu won't let you copy my soul skills in the future. You promised before that you would listen to me except not to bully you. Could it be that you lied to me? Ye Qiu paused in his steps and looked at her intently, his face expressionless and his eyes as calm as water. I didn't lie to you. Xiao Wu looked a little panicked and said quickly, I will cooperate with you well. Really? That's good. It seems that I can keep this secret from you forever. Ye Qiu smiled evilly, grabbed Xiao Wu's little hand and squeezed it gently. Lifetime? Xiao Wu's face panicked and she wanted to take her hand out, but Ye Qiu held it tightly. She could only look at Ye Qiu and grind her teeth. Ye Qiu smiled secretly in his heart. If Xiao Wu knew that his identity had been exposed long ago, it might have been difficult to handle. Soon, Ye Qiu returned to Qixia with Xiao Wu in his arms. I saw that some people had finished practicing and were getting ready to sleep. Xiao Wu also quickly wanted to jump out of Ye Qiu's arms, but unfortunately, Ye Qiu didn't do what she wanted. Ye Qiu, what happened to Xiao Wu? Tang San had also temporarily finished his training. Looking at Xiao Wu, who was held in Ye Qiu's arms with his face flushed, he felt his heart flutter slightly. It was really lovely. It's nothing, I just fell a little during the sparring session. Ye Qiu shook his head and told the truth. Xiao Wu buried her head in his arms, and the other people's thoughtful glances made her a little bit intolerable. Ye Qiu. When Ye Qiu came to his bedside, he gently threw Xiao Wu into his clinic with both hands. Xiao Wu cried out in pain, covering her butt, her beautiful eyes looking shy and timid. Tang San looked at this scene and looked at Ye Qiu strangely. How could he kill such a cute little girl? Ye Qiu ignored her, lay down on his bed, let out a cry of comfort, and said after a while. What's your name? I'm very tired too, okay? Sister Xiao Wu didn't ask you to hug me. Xiao Wu's face turned red with anger, and she didn't forget to show her big sister's face. Okay, you'd better wash it again quickly, otherwise you won't be able to put on the quilt tonight. Ye Qiu suddenly turned sideways, holding his head with one hand and looking at Xiao Wu. Just go, Sister Xiao Wu will buy a new quilt by herself tomorrow. Xiao Wu has also registered as a soul master and received a gold soul coin. That would be the best. It would save me from having trouble sleeping and being woken up by you in the middle of the night. Ye Qiu waved his hand indifferently, although it was quite nice to hug her, who wouldn't love it when it was soft and fragrant. But I can't stand this rabbit kicking its legs. You. Xiao Wu's face turned red and she muttered angrily. Then Sister Xiao Wu won't buy it. I'll kick you to death tonight. After saying that, he made a face at Ye Qiu, then picked up his change of clothes and walked out of Chisha. You forgot something. Ye Qiu didn't pay attention to what she said, but called her, reached into her pink bag, took out the ointment, and threw it towards her. Seeing Xiao Wu leaving with a cold snort, Ye Qiu stretched himself, lying in bed. I was thinking about how to spend the next few years at Notting College. When did you cut off the fairy grass? Who do I need to find for my soul skills? When are you going to report Tang Hao and his son? However, with the rabbit Xiao Wu here and reporting Tang Hao and his son, her identity might become known to everyone. Ye Qiu didn't want his first soul skill to be scrapped. He would be very distressed. Huh? Xiao San, what's the matter with you? Ye Qiu looked at Tang San who was walking towards him strangely. Ye Qiu, this book records some techniques for cultivating soul power. I got it from my teacher. I hope it can help you. Tang San didn't care about Ye Qiu's title. As soon as the bright moon flashed across his waist, a thick book appeared in his hand and he handed it to Ye Qiu. In fact, for us civilians, it is also very important to have a leader. You can consider it. The teacher is still very talented and practical. Oh. Is this the soul power cultivation route? Ye Qiu automatically filtered out the nonsense in Tang San's mouth, took the book in his hand, quickly opened it, and glanced at it briefly. Unexpectedly, Yu Xiaojiang wrote such a densely packed book on just a soul power cultivation route, which made Ye Qiu feel dizzy, snapped. Ye Qiu closed the book, sat up, and responded with a smile, "Thank you for your kindness, I will seriously consider it." You're welcome. After all, we are from the same village. We should take care of each other. Tang San smiled lightly. For him who had the Shentian skill at his side, this thing was useless. As for Tang Hao's advice, he also kept it in mind. If he could hurt Xiao Wu, he would definitely have strong strength. It is indeed worth wooing and getting to know each other deeply. Correct. What's wrong, mistress? Do you have anything else to do? You must not lose this book or pass it around. Of course, if Xiao Wu needs it, you can read it together. After all, this is Yu Xiaojiang's personal academic achievement. Tang San, who is full of copyright awareness, will naturally not mess around. Don't worry, if she's interested, I'll show it to her. A slight smile appeared on Ye Qiu's face. Xiao Wu was indeed an exception. Well, then I won't disturb your rest. Seeing Tang San return to his bed, Ye Qiu also turned the thick book in his hand to the back. He didn't need to engage in academic research, and he didn't care about the process in which Yu Xiaojiang discovered the so-called optimal route for soul power. He just needs to know the result and give it a try. Seeing Ye Qiu eagerly reading a book as soon as he left, Tang San couldn't help but feel a little happy. If you want to revive the Tang sect in another world, it's not enough to rely on yourself. After memorizing the route, Ye Qiu immediately closed his eyes and started trying. After just running it for a few days, Ye Qiu pouted in disgust. He opened his eyes and threw the book to Xiao Wu. The conclusions drawn from this big pile of things are not as useful as those obtained from Xiao Wu. It seems that it has to be Shantian Kung. Ye Qiu glanced at Tang San who was sitting cross-legged practicing, curled his lips, and secretly scolded him for being stingy. He actually wanted to get rid of the white wolf with nothing. Fortunately, Tang San had his Shantian skill, and he also had the heaven-defying 10,000 phase armor. In terms of cultivation speed, Tang San was not inferior at all. Thinking of this, Ye Qiu took out 3 carrot-flavored lollipops from his bag. Lying on the bed, waiting for Xiao Wu to come back. At the same time, I also felt a little shameless in my heart. It's better to be honest and let the little rabbit do the work, and also know how to give some practical benefits. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 25. You practice wearing me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Most of a quarter of an hour, Xiao Wu, whose hair was still a little wet, returned to Qixia. She had just taken a hot bath, her face was rosy, moist and shiny, her waist-length hair was spread over her shoulders, she was tall and she was indeed a beauty. Little rabbit, you are finally back. Ye Qiu lay on his side and watched her pack her clothes. I've told you many times, don't call me rabbit. Xiao Wu frowned, glared at Ye Qiu, and then put the ointment back into her bag. Ye Qiu smiled silently, watching her pouting and frowning with red lips and white teeth. She was really cute and a bit pleasing to the eye. Huh? Ye Qiu, what is this? Xiao Wu was about to climb onto the bed when she suddenly noticed a thick book sitting on her bed. Oh, this was brought over by Tang San. The soul power cultivation route compiled by that master. If you are interested, take it and read it. If you are not interested, don't throw it away. You can also use it to make a pillow. Ye Qiu, he replied casually, his eyes still drifting to Tang San who was practicing. The one with facial paralysis. Xiao Wu was stunned for a moment, opened it and took a look, and was dazzled. What is written in this? Sister Xiao Wu has a headache after reading it. If I use it as a pillow, Xiao Wu thinks it is hard, so I might as well use it as the foot of the bed. Xiao Wu has never been a person who likes to learn. When she saw such a thick book, she felt dizzy and threw it to the foot of the bed. Then he climbed onto the bed, sat on the bed, looked down, and found that Ye Qiu was staring at him. Why are you staring at Sister Xiao Wu? Xiao Wu blushed, retracted her legs, hugged her knees, and looked at him warily. She didn't forget that he kept staring at her like this at noon today, and then came over. Why are you so guarded against me? I just have something to discuss with you. Ye Qiu also sat up, leaned next to Xiao Wu, and looked at her seriously. What's the matter? I want you to help me practice. I shouldn't say that we make progress together. Practice? Xiao Wu was stunned for a moment, but she immediately reacted. After sharing her memories, she already knew Ye Qiu's martial spirit very well. Yes. You practice while wearing me. This will greatly increase the speed of our practice. For Ye Qiu's contract partner, when she put on the mecha transformed by Ye Qiu, their souls merged and their spiritual powers were linked together. The speed of soul power cultivation can be greatly increased, achieving the effect of 1 + 1 being greater than 2. Explain this increase. Although 1 + 1 is greater than 2, the cultivation results obtained naturally need to be distributed. Instead of doubling the individual cultivation speed as some readers understand, it can be embodied as 2.2 times, and the average speed per person is increased to 1.1 times. The cultivation results can be flexibly assigned by the protagonist. While Xiao Wu was thinking, Ye Qiu also directly grabbed her hand, and a circle of yellow soul rings lit up outside their hands. Sensing Xiao Wu's little thoughts, Ye Qiu's voice sounded in Xiao Wu's mind. Don't think about getting any benefits from me. After all, this will also be beneficial to you and help you enter the maturity stage as soon as possible. Thinking of what Xiao Wu would look like when she matured, Ye Qiu couldn't help but have some wild thoughts. Ah! You are not allowed to think nonsense. Ye Qiu suddenly felt a strong sense of shyness. As the voice sounded, Xiao Wu's hand was thrown away by her. Xiao Wu's earlobes felt like they were dripping blood, and she stared at Ye Qiu shyly. Those advanced knowledge made her blush. Ye Qiu smiled awkwardly. It seemed that this spiritual link could not hide privacy, but he was also a little happy. He knew that Xiao Wu had already agreed. I'm sorry, I'll try not to think about it in the future. Ye Qiu didn't make any excuses. Anyway, this kind of thing would definitely not be the first time. Speaking it out in a serious way would reduce his embarrassment. Don't think about it. I am not what you think. Xiao Wu glared at Ye Qiu, her teeth itching with embarrassment. Okay, if it's not allowed, it's not allowed. Ye Qiu chuckled and handed over the lollipop that had been prepared. Although you lost to me, in order to have a happy cooperation, I will give you these 3 lollipops. Humph. Sister Xiao Wu will go buy a new quilt tomorrow. Xiao Wu reached out and carefully picked up the candy in her hand, not daring to even think about kicking Ye Qiu to death. If we continue to sleep together, I'm afraid he will eat us up to nothing. Whatever you want. Ye Qiu shrugged. Although it was a pity to lose a pillow, it was also important that he could sleep well, but today is destined to be another sleepless night. The white horse passes through the gap. 1 year has passed. During this year, Ye Qiu's life was quite fulfilling and regular, except for the classes arranged by the academy in the morning. Most of the time was spent practicing with Xiao Wu. From time to time, he and Xiao Wu would go to Notting City to hang out, or compete on fighting skills. The two of them had been connected for a long time, and Ye Qiu was very familiar with every smile and every move of that silly rabbit. Of course, she also knows a lot more about Ye Qiu. She can be said to be the person who understands Ye Qiu best in the world besides Ye Qiu himself. This also led to her becoming more and more arrogant and not paying much attention to Ye Qiu's threats. As a result, Ye Qiu often had to deal with her. In addition, Tang San, who always took time to study with Yu Xiaojiang and go to the blacksmith shop to make iron, often consulted with Ye Qiu. In this regard, Ye Qiu also concealed his martial spirit. Otherwise, it would be easy for others to be afraid of him, and if Yu Xiaojiang knew about it, it would be very annoying. But even if Ye Qiu just said that he could copy someone else's soul skill, Yu Xiaojiang was a little excited, but Ye Qiu didn't care much about him. 7 homes. The students are also preparing to go home one after another. Wang Sheng has also become a true soul master and successfully graduated from Notting College. Boss Ye Qiu, third brother, and sister Xiao Wu, we are destined to meet again. That with farewells, he slowly left Qisha after packing his things to take the exam at the Intermediate Soul Master Academy. Oh, I'm afraid I'll never see you again. Ye Qiu was lying on the bed holding a lollipop in his mouth. He looked at Wang Sheng's leaving figure and shook his head calmly. Over the past year, the relationship between Ye Qiu, Tang San and Xiao Wu has become much closer. Tang San, who was packing his things, looked at Ye Qiu who was still lying on the bed and asked in confusion, Ye Qiu, why don't you pack your things? Aren't you going to go home? Tang San missed his old father at home very much. Although Tang Hao had not visited him for a year, he still prepared a new forging hammer for him as a gift. Isn't it a holiday tomorrow? There's still time to clean up at night. Ye Qiu waved his hand casually. There were only a few sets of clothes, and there was nothing to pack. Tang San smiled helplessly. Ye Qiu seemed to be only interested in cultivation and lived a lazy life. Then he turned to look at Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu, what about you? You have a holiday tomorrow. Do you want to go home? That I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 26 Another Price. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was a few steps away from Ye Qiu's bed. Xiao Wu, who had already slept in a separate bed from Ye Qiu, was sitting on the edge of the bed, gently shaking her 2 jade feet, looking at the increasingly deserted Qi Shi. Xiao Wu's eyes showed a bit of loneliness after hearing Tang San's words, which was completely different from her usual lively and active nature. He shook his head slightly. If I don't go home, maybe I will stay in the academy. Tang San was stunned for a moment, and said in surprise, It's been a year, why don't you go home and take a look? Xiao Wu, who had been stabbed twice by Tang San, was feeling irritated when he suddenly glanced at Ye Qiu, who was lying on the bed, holding a candy in his mouth and closing his eyes to rest. His eyes suddenly lit up. Xiao San, isn't your home not far from the college? How about I go to your place to play? Anyway, Wang Sheng and the others are leaving, and there is no one to play with Sister Xiao Wu. Looking at Xiao Wu who was like a porcelain doll, Tang San smiled. After a year of getting along with her, he had a better understanding of the character of the little girl in front of him. She always looked like she was worried about the world being in chaos. When she's gentle, she's like a doll, but once she gets violent, her title as the Nodding Sister is not for nothing. Except for Ye Qiu, even he often suffers when facing her. Tang San smiled lightly, but did not directly agree. My family is very poor and there is nothing to entertain me. Poor. You are the richest one in our Qixia. Xiao Wu jumped out of bed, hands on hips, staring at Tang San with her big crimson eyes. You save a lot on your monthly subsidy, as well as the salary from the blacksmith shop. Are you still afraid that you won't be able to entertain me? When it comes to being poor, Sister Xiao Wu is really poor. She doesn't have much money left. After saying this, Xiao Wu couldn't help but murmured in a low voice, and glanced in Ye Qiu's direction with resentment. A large part of her money was spent on Ye Qiu, or in other words, she spent it on candies. A few black lines appeared on Tang San's forehead. Looking at Xiao Wu, who suddenly changed his face and became a little domineering, he nodded with a smile. Then you can go if you want, but my father's temper is not very good. Xiao Wu said indifferently, I am so well behaved and cute, your father will definitely welcome me. As she spoke, she smiled at Tang San and blinked her big Cazalan eyes. Tang San looked at Xiao Wu in front of him and was stunned. Although he knew that the other party was pretending to be like this, he was still a little frightened. Ye Qiu, who had been lying on the bed, smiled strangely when he heard Xiao Wu's words. Okay, then it's settled. Xiao Wu waved her hand and settled the matter. Okay, then let's set off together tomorrow morning. Tang San, who came back to his senses, smiled and nodded. After quickly packing his things, Tang San left Qixia. He also had to say a simple goodbye to his teacher. Xiao Wu suddenly became a little bored again. She looked left and right and looked at Ye Qiu, who was lying on the bed. With a blush on her face, she ran to Ye Qiu's bed and kicked the foot of Ye Qiu's bed twice. Ye Qiu, hurry up and pack your things. Sister Xiao Wu will go home with you tomorrow. Don't let your guard down. Can you please stop kicking me? It's so noisy. Ye Qiu frowned, covered his ears, opened his eyes and glared at her. Then get up quickly and pack your things. Xiao Wu pursed her lips, looked at Ye Qiu, who was turning sideways, and reached out to pull his clothes. Let me tell you, do you want to go home with me or Tang San? Ye Qiu rolled his eyes helplessly, turned around and complained angrily. Xiao Wu stiffened, her eyes flickered, she retracted her little hand, and asked strangely, is there any difference? Aren't you two from the same village? Of course there is a difference. If you want to go home with Tang San, I will be a little unhappy. Who cares whether you are happy or not? Sister Xiao Wu can be happy herself. Humph. Seeing Xiao Wu's somewhat panicked look, Ye Qiu's face started to smile. It seems that all the time this year has been wasted. Ye Qiu slowly sat up, looked at his things, and shrugged. Now, look, I don't have anything to pack. It's just a few sets of clothes. Why don't you help me pack them? What? Don't think that Sister Xiao Wu won't do it. If you are willing to do it, I can pay you a candy, carrot flavor. How about it? Ye Qiu stretched out his index finger and waved it in front of Xiao Wu. Her little face, which was still very resistant, suddenly relaxed. Really? Don't lie to Sister Xiao Wu. She swallowed in frustration. Since she had to spend money to buy it, she could only eat it at the beginning of the month. If she bought too much, she couldn't control it and would finish it quickly. How could it be? Have I ever lied to you? Ye Qiu's face looked sincere. Have you bullied Sister Xiao Wu a few times? Xiao Wu blushed and rubbed her buttocks. Although her soul power is higher than Ye Qiu's strength is much stronger than hers. She is no match for Ye Qiu every time they fight. Who told you to always be disobedient? Besides, bullying you and lying to you are two different things. Okay. While Ye Qiu was speaking, he reached out to pinch her pretty face that looked a little aggrieved, but Xiao Wu hid away, staring at him with a pair of shy beautiful eyes, with a stern look on her face, and said softly, don't move around, this is another price. Huh, okay. Ye Qiu spread his hands helplessly, and could only say that he had made a bad mistake. In order to satisfy his appetite, this little rabbit also lost his money. Then you should clean up quickly and I'll lie down for a while. Ye Qiu stood up, stretched, walked a few steps to Xiao Wu's bed and lay down. Humph. I know how to command Sister Xiao Wu. Looking at the lazy Ye Qiu, Xiao Wu snorted coldly, then climbed onto Ye Qiu's bed and started folding her clothes, looking at Xiao Wu, who was still well behaved. Ye Qiu's face showed some satisfaction. After a year of practicing together, Ye Qiu's soul power has reached the 16th level and is about to break through the 17th level, and Tang San, who had 13th level soul power just after absorbing the spirit ring, was already 17th level. Xiao Wu, who was originally supposed to be on par with Tang San, had already reached level 18 after Ye Qiu deliberately allocated more soul power to her. After all, the wait is always long. Make sure she breaks through first. When Ye Qiu breaks through, there will be no need to wait for her soul skills. At this rate, before graduating from Notting College, he and Xiao Wu would definitely be able to break through to Soul Master. Everything is developing in a good direction, but Ye Qiu always cared about one thing, and that was the fairy grass. If he had continued along the original timeline and followed Tang San to Shrek Academy, he would probably have no chance with the fairy grass. Please read the new book. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 27. The plan starts from the heart. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Therefore, Ye Qiu planned to find a time to leave, preferably after recreating Xiao Wu's third soul skill teleportation. This way his safety is more guaranteed. While Ye Qiu was thinking about it, Xiao Wu had already helped him fold all his clothes neatly. It was obviously not the first time I had done this kind of thing, and it was very easy to do. He jumped to the side of his bed and pushed Ye Qiu twice. Ye Qiu, Sister Xiao Wu has already done it for you. Well, that's all thanks to you. Ye Qiu sat up and took a look at his bed. Even the quilt was folded and it was indeed very neat. Stop talking about these useless things, get up quickly and give the reward to Sister Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu smiled and spread her hands flat in front of Ye Qiu. Okay. I'll forgive you 2 of the 6 Gintama coins you owe me. How about that? I'm generous enough. Ye Qiu took the candy from his mouth and looked at the cute girl in front of him with a smile, whose face had begun to deform. How can this be done? Xiao Wujiao said, pulling Ye Qiu's arm again and starting to act coquettishly. Then, those Gintama coins will be returned to you after my subsidy is paid. Seeing that Ye Qiu was still indifferent, he still wanted to leave. Xiao Wu showed his fierce look and gritted his teeth and said, Ye Qiu, you must give Sister Xiao Wu a bite to eat today. Otherwise, Sister Xiao Wu will never be done with you. Ah! Ugh. Seeing the arrogant Xiao Wu, the kind-hearted Ye Qiu had no choice but to help her. He directly took the candy in his hand and put it in, then walked away without missing a beat. When the candy entered her mouth, Xiao Wu whimpered twice and quickly took it out. Bah! After turning his face and spitting twice, his face turned red. He turned around and looked at Ye Qiu, who had returned to his bed, glaring angrily. Ye Qiu, why did you give Sister Xiao Wu the food you had eaten? If you want love, just throw it away. I've already given you 2 Gintama coins, what else do you want? You greedy rabbit. Ye Qiu looked confident, raised his eyebrows at Xiao Wu, and then lay down. Ah! Ye Qiu, Sister Xiao Wu wants to duel with you. Upon hearing the word rabbit, Xiao Wu became a little excited and threw the candy towards Ye Qiu. At the same time, he rushed towards Ye Qiu with his teeth and claws bared. With quick eyes and quick hands, Ye Qiu caught the hidden weapon she threw towards him, held it in his mouth, and with both hands free, he faced the explosive Xiao Wu. The rest of the people in Qixia were already used to this. Xiao Wu and Ye Qiu would have some small conflicts every now and then. If one day they stopped arguing, they would feel a little uncomfortable. Bang! Puff! Snapped, snapped, snapped. What? Ah, stop fighting, Sister Xiao Wu knows she is wrong. There were a few muffled sounds of fists and feet clashing, and a few crisp and continuous slaps, then came the familiar screams and begging for mercy of Sister Xiao Wu. After half a ring, Ye Qiu, who was possessed by the myriad camera armor, stood beside the bed, panting slightly, and his clothes were still neat. Xiao Wu, on the other hand, was half lying on the bed, disheveled, with 2 small hands covering her raised buttocks, and tears glistening in the corners of her eyes. His face was a mixture of shyness, anger and fear. Really, if you don't fight for 3 days, you'll have to go to bed and take off the roof. Ye Qiu wiped the non-existent sweat from his forehead. Who told you to always call me Rabbit? Xiao Wu's voice sounded a little aggrieved. Looking at Xiao Wu with a complaining look on his face, Ye Qiu reached over to pull her up. No hitting, Sister Xiao Wu has already given up. Xiao Wu quickly covered her face tightly, fearing that Ye Qiu would hit her twice more. Ye Qiu sneered. If I want to continue fighting, can you stop me? Get up quickly. Wait for Tang San to come back. Ye Qiu was sitting cross-legged on the bed, meditating and recovering his soul power, while Xiao Wu was sitting quietly by his bed, still holding the candy given by Ye Qiu in his hand. He looked at Xiao Wu, whose eyes were a little red and had to support his body with his hands, only sitting on half of his buttocks. Tang San immediately understood what happened during his absence. She couldn't help but reveal a wry smile. Xiao Wu, you won't conflict with Ye Qiu again, will you? Xiao Wu's face turned red and she glared at Ye Qiu. Humph. It's all his fault, he always likes to bully Sister Xiao Wu. You do it yourself most of the time, right? Ye Qiu opened his eyes and glanced at her lightly. If you hadn't always made me angry, why would I have done anything? Xiao Wu bit her silver teeth viciously. Tang San covered his forehead. He couldn't understand the conflict between the two, but every time Ye Qiu hit Xiao Wu, he felt a little strange in his heart, and he always felt that his head was heavier. Ye Qiu, you should fight somewhere else in the future. After all, Xiao Wu is a girl. Xiao Wu nodded wildly at the side. Choose another place to fight, I'm afraid she won't have a long memory. Ye Qiu spread his hands, expressing that it was a bit difficult. Tang San had said this to Ye Qiu more than once. Ye Qiu even suspected that this guy had sparred many times, and it was because Xiao Wu was beaten by him that he came to stand up for Xiao Wu in the name of sparring. Therefore, the fighting power between the three people seems a bit strange. Ye Qiu couldn't beat Tang San couldn't beat Xiao Wu, and Xiao Wu couldn't beat Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu knew very well that he had used all his strength. As for what went wrong, it was obvious. Tang San sighed helplessly. He had already expected this answer. However, he pulled out a smile and teased. Then you have to be responsible for carrying Xiao Wu on her way tomorrow. After all, every time she is beaten by you, her injuries don't heal so quickly. Huh. Hearing this, Ye Qiu's expression froze. He didn't expect this, and turned to look at Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu, go and apply the medicine quickly so that you won't be unable to walk a long distance tomorrow. When Xiao Wu heard Tang San's words, she was stunned for a moment, then her face turned red, her eyes lit up, and she started planning from the bottom of her heart, as if she had found a way to take revenge on Ye Qiu. Looking at Xiao Wu who was indifferently tasting the candy with his head lowered, Ye Qiu couldn't help but scream a few more times. Xiao Wu, Xiao Wu. Silly rabbit. Ah. Ye Qiu, what did you say? Xiao Wu raised her head in confusion, not even paying attention to Ye Qiu calling her a silly rabbit. Tang San also looked at her a little strangely. Ye Qiu glanced at her doubtfully and said in a deep voice, I told you to apply the medicine now, otherwise I'll leave you on the road tomorrow. I know, what's so bad? Humph. Xiao Wu gave him a resentful look, stood up and took out the ointment she often used. Then he turned around and walked outside. With Tang San here, she didn't believe that Ye Qiu would abandon her on the road, and she knows that why Ye Qiu would definitely not let Tang San carry him on his back. Xiao Wu had a slight snicker on her face that I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 28 The Rabbit Who Takes Advantage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Wu quietly ran to the bathroom. After spending some time alone with the small box of ointment, I ate all the candy in my mouth. He patted his little face again, causing a slight blush, then lowered his eyes and returned to Kishili. Ye Qiu saw that Xiao Wu had taken the medicine and returned. He stood up and sat beside her bed. What are you doing? Xiao Wu quickly put the ointment back into her small bag and turned to guard Ye Qiu, looking evasive and feeling a little guilty. What else can I do? Let me practice with you. Ye Qiu rolled his eyes at her, thinking that she was temporarily frightened. He had to hurry up and let Xiao Wu and himself break through to the Soul Lord as soon as possible. In the past year, he had forced Xiao Wu many times, and she was just a little too playful. Cultivation. Sister Xiao Wu doesn't want to practice now. Just sitting still hurts a little, and I don't want it. Xiao Wu shook her head like a rattle, her face turned red, and she stretched out her hand to push Ye Qiu away. She didn't dare to practice with Ye Qiu before tomorrow, otherwise she would not be able to hide her little thoughts, you might even get a beating. With me wrapping you up, why would you feel so much pain? Ye Qiu looked at her strangely. It was not like he had never practiced after beating her before. With the pain exchanged, he didn't see how uncomfortable she was. If it doesn't work, it won't work. Xiao Wu simply covered her head with the quilt, not wanting to see Ye Qiu. Okay. Ye Qiu shrugged, without forcing her too much. Maybe I was a bit harsher this time. Then do you want me to bring you some food? Ye Qiu asked Xiao Wu again. Okay, Sister Xiao Wu wants long, straight, fresh carrots. Xiao Wu poked her head out from under the quilt, her little face already flushed with pain. Well, then you have a good rest. Ye Qiu responded softly and stuffed another lollipop into Xiao Wu's mouth. Mistress, do you want to go to dinner together? When Ye Qiu walked to the door, he seemed to have just remembered Tang San, so he turned around and asked. No, you can go on your own, I've already eaten with the teacher. Tang San shook his head. Okay. Ye Qiu waved his hand and walked to the cafeteria of Nodding College. Xiao Wu held the candy in her mouth. It was sweet. He touched his butt, blushed and squirmed like maggots on the bed. Ye Qiu still takes good care of her sometimes, although when taking care of himself, most of the problems were caused by Ye Qiu himself. Xiao Wu also knew very well that if she did this, she would be severely beaten by Ye Qiu sooner or later. But she had already taken advantage of him. It's no big deal to receive a slap that is insignificant and routine. Early the next morning, Tang San, Ye Qiu, and Xiao Wu walked out of the Nodding Academy gate. Xiao Wu, your injury is not healed yet. Ye Qiu looked at Xiao Wu next to him strangely. Xiao Wu, who used to bounce around when she walked, now followed her with small steps. The innocent smile on his face has also faded a lot. How can it be so fast? Xiao Wu frowned, lowered her eyes, hummed and took Ye Qiu's little hand, borrowing a little strength. Did you hit yourself that hard? Ye Qiu raised his eyebrows, looking at the red-faced little rabbit who didn't dare to look at him, and felt a little self-doubt. After walking for more than half an hour, Xiao Wu couldn't bear it anymore, and beads of sweat appeared on her forehead. Tang San, who was next to him, had already noticed Xiao Wu's strange behavior. He smiled and looked at Ye Qiu with a teasing look in his eyes. Ye Qiu, it seems that you have suffered a lot. Ye Qiu's face darkened. Tang San was actually right, he had no choice but to do things alone. He walked in front of Xiao Wu, stretched out his hand to hold her arm, and squatted down slightly. Come on, I'll take some losses and carry you back. Humph, it's not your fault, Xiao Wu muttered, smiled behind Ye Qiu, and gently lay on Ye Qiu's back. Tang San looked at Xiao Wu's smiling face, something strange flashed in his eyes. Xiao Wu also obviously noticed Tang San's gaze. Her face suddenly turned red, she turned her head in panic and leaned on Ye Qiu's shoulder. Okay, mistress, let's go on. Ye Qiu bumped the little girl on his back, but fortunately it wasn't too heavy. Yeah. Tang San nodded blankly, seeming to understand something, but he felt a little uncomfortable and his head became heavier. Leaning on Ye Qiu's back, Xiao Wu hugged Ye Qiu's neck and pressed against him tightly. This was completely different from the feeling when Ye Qiu was attached to her, odder and more aromatic. He tightened his arms and showed a successful smile on his face. He leaned close to Ye Qiu's ear and whispered, Ye Qiu, Sister Xiao Wu is a little hungry. I told you not to push me too far. Several black lines appeared on Ye Qiu's forehead. Xiao Wu looked at Ye Qiu's somewhat stiff profile and didn't dare to be too presumptuous. If she went too far, she was afraid that Ye Qiu would be really angry. What's so bad about it? Sister Xiao Wu doesn't want anything from you to eat. After muttering something softly, there was no movement. After a while, Ye Qiu's voice came faintly, you can pay for it yourself. Ah. Okay. Xiao Wu was stunned for a moment, feeling a little surprised in her heart. Her eyes sparkled, and she stretched out her little hand to touch the pocket in Ye Qiu's arms. after just groping for a few times, her little face felt a little hot, and Ye Qiu's eyes twitched and itched a little. After a while, I took out a carrot-flavored lollipop. It's wrapped with a layer of practical fruit wax, so you don't have to worry about it melting in your arms. Smiling, he stuffed it into his mouth. Ye Qiu, do you want one too? No need. Ye Qiu shook his head gently. Xiao San, how far is it exactly? Xiao Wu wiped Ye Qiu's sweat, looked at the mountains appearing in the distance, and was a little worried about whether Ye Qiu could persevere. We're almost there. Have you seen that mountain? Our Holy Soul village is at the foot of the mountain. Looking at the village in front of him, Tang San couldn't help but feel a little excited. Some can't wait to see their father. Ye Qiu followed Tang San and curled his lips. He knew that Tang Hao, the drunkard, had left Holy Soul village long ago. Tang San was just rejoicing in vain. Ye Qiu's lower body was already covered with a layer of mecha. He had the support of soul power during this journey, but he was just a little tired. Soon, the three of them had entered the Holy Soul village. Tang San's blacksmith shop was at the end of the village. He raised his hand and pointed to the tattered signboard on the roof, and excitedly said to Xiao Wu, "Look, that's my home." At the same time, he took 3 steps at a time and arrived at the door of the house. "Dad! The mistress is back." The door was open, and Ye Qiu, carrying Xiao Wu on his back, could still see the messy things piled inside, including the tattered bottles and cans, which exuded a strange smell. As for Tang San, he could only feel the kindness from it. Nothing had changed. This is what home tastes like. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 29 Little Girlfriend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. From the open door, a figure suddenly walked out. When Tang San was about to recognize his father subconsciously, he was stunned for a moment. Grandpa Jack. Hey! Mistress, are you back so early? I was just going to call that guy Tang Hao to pick you up together. Old Jack held a crumpled piece of paper in his hand that seemed to have been soaked in alcohol. Grandpa Jack, why are you here? Where is my father? Tang San felt something bad in his heart and became a little melancholy. Oh, let's take a look for ourselves. This Tang Hao is so irresponsible. He just left like this. Old Jack handed the paper in his hand to Tang San's hand, with a sigh on his face. Grandpa Jack, long time no see. People's joys and sorrows are not the same. Just as Tang San looked at the paper in his hand helplessly, Ye Qiu smiled and said hello to old Jack. Haha. Xiao Qiu is back too. Old Jack finally noticed Ye Qiu, with a hint of surprise on his face. Is this your little girlfriend, Xiao Qiu? What a cute little girl. Ye Qiu didn't answer, just smiled softly. What surprised Ye Qiu was that Xiao Wu didn't refute. When Ye Qiu turned around, he only saw the back of her head. Doesn't this rabbit know what his girlfriend means? It shouldn't be. In the direction that Ye Qiu couldn't see, Xiao Wu's face was already flushed. How could she not know what her girlfriend meant? She had fully accepted Ye Qiu's memories and read them several times. Haha. Looking at this interesting scene, old Jack couldn't help but feel that he was several years younger. Then he turned to comfort Tang San and said, Xiao San, don't be too sad. Maybe Tang Hao will come back after a while. Tang San shook his head silently, carefully folded the paper in his hand and put it into his arms. Thank you, Grandpa Jack. The house is so messy, so I won't ask you to stay. I still have to clean it up. Old Jack, who originally wanted to invite Tang San to his home, was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that the young Tang San would actually issue an eviction order to him. He sighed and said, okay. But, what do you have? If you need anything, just come to me. Old Jack shook his head helplessly, turned and walked outside, paused again, and smiled kindly at Ye Qiu. Xiao Qiu, do you want to take your little girlfriend to Grandpa Jack's house as a guest? Okay. Ye Qiu didn't refuse, but he didn't ignore Tang San either. Mistress, I'm really tired carrying this rabbit. I need to find a place to rest. You can feel sorry for yourself. Condolences. Tang San's heart twitched. but he didn't say a word and just started to clean up the messy room. Old Jack looked at Ye Qiu and couldn't help but nodded. Compared to Tang San's family, who were not gregarious and both father and son were somewhat withdrawn, Ye Qiu was more pleasing to the eye and made people more curious. No wonder he can bring a little girlfriend back so soon. Okay, let's go now. Mistress, you can come to Grandpa Jack's house for dinner at noon. When he didn't get a response, old Jack didn't lose heart and walked back to his home with Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu, who was lying on Ye Qiu's back, turned around and looked at Tang San strangely. She didn't understand why Ye Qiu was guarding against him in her heart. Ye Qiu came to old Jack's house and just sat there for a while, ate some snacks and took 2 carrots. He left more than 10 gold soul coins and headed back home. Ever since Xiao Wu became the eldest sister of not in college, the food expenses of their work-study students have been covered by Xiao Qinyu. Therefore, Ye Qiu actually saved a lot of gold soul coins, including those he earned from Xiao Wu. He was considered wealthy in this holy soul village, so he didn't feel bad giving away most of his savings. He doesn't need to build any hidden weapons. Ye Qiu had a burlap bag hanging around his neck, containing some carrots, and was carrying Xiao Wu towards his home. Ye Qiu, where is your home? Xiao Wu gently wiped Ye Qiu's sweat and asked softly. Can you please stop looking for words? I'm very tired. Ye Qiu rolled his eyes. She had clearly seen all his memories. How could she not know where her home was? If you have anything to say, just say it. Based on Ye Qiu's understanding of her, she would definitely not just ask such a simple question. Xiao Wu curled her lips, hugged Ye Qiu's neck, leaned close to Ye Qiu's ears, and whispered, Why do you want me to stay away from Tang San? Humph. You can lean in if you want. Ye Qiu snorted coldly. If he wasn't afraid of scaring her, Ye Qiu would have told her about the existence of Tang Hao, a titled Douluo. No, I don't want to lean over. I always listen to you. Let go, do you want to strangle me? Ye Qiu's somewhat uncomfortable voice came, and Xiao Wu realized that she had exerted a little too much force, but she was telling the truth. She had refused many times to compete with Tang San. If you don't want to say it, just say it. Xiao Wu muttered. Ye Qiu also returned to his cabin. The structure of 1 bedroom, 1 living room and 1 bathroom is small but fully equipped. Okay, we're here. Ye Qiu put Xiao Wu down, took out the key from his arms, and opened the somewhat shabby door. Xiao Wu followed closely behind. I'm so exhausted. Ye Qiu didn't care about the dust on the bed and lay down directly. Seeing Ye Qiu's cheeks turn red, Xiao Wu couldn't help but worry about her, but she had hurt Ye Qiu like this, and she didn't know how he would bully her. Half sitting on the edge of the bed, looking at Ye Qiu's chest rising and falling, his little face showed a hint of pleasure again. Come on. Ye Qiu stretched out his hand towards Xiao Wu. Come on, what are you coming on? Xiao Wu hesitated, a little strange. Cultivation. My soul power is almost at its bottom. Hurry up. I have to do some hygiene later. Ye Qiu said angrily. Practice. Xiao Wu, who had just sat down, stood up again and looked at Ye Qiu in a panic. She didn't expect that she would be liquidated so soon. What's the matter with you? Is it possible that your butt still hurts after a night? Ye Qiu had a suspicious look on his face. No, it's much better. Xiao Wu took a few deep breaths, a look of struggle flashed on her face, and she still put her hand in Ye Qiu's. Ye Qiu frowned and activated his martial spirit. Bang! Ye Qiu's body turned into blue light particles under Xiao Wu's somewhat horrified gaze. A yellow soul ring was wrapped around Xiao Wu's body. Blue and red stripes instantly spread all over Xiao Wu's body, and the steel mecha immediately covered her, a streamlined body full of beauty and power, a scorpion tail on the back of the head, and steel rabbit ears staring at the head. Buzz. His eyes lit up and his stripes flashed. As soon as they merged, Ye Qiu suddenly felt a little panic. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 30 Sweet and Soft. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Wu, who put on the mecha, was trembling slightly. She could feel the surprise and anger in Ye Qiu's heart. Ye Qiu's mind was also a little dazed. after watching Xiao Wu's memories, he no longer wanted to practice. Puff. Ye Qiu, who had just merged with Xiao Wu, turned into a particle of light again and reappeared in front of Xiao Wu. Okay. That's great for you. Ye Qiu grabbed Xiao Wu's hand and smiled angrily, unexpectedly. Not only did she not apply any medicine yesterday, but when she woke up this morning, the pain was not enough, and she even gave herself 2 injections. This is really good. Xiao Wu's hand was tightly grasped by Ye Qiu, and she just looked at him with some fear, not knowing what to say. Facts speak louder than words. Her memory has directly exposed all her little thoughts. I don't know how to quibble. Ah, no. Amidst Xiao Wu's exclamations, Ye Qiu directly pressed her neck and made her lie half-body on the bed, raising her buttocks. Before he could raise his hand, Xiao Wu, who had already understood his thoughts, started yelling. No, Sister Xiao Wu can't bear it anymore. Ye Qiu, you can't fight, I'm really in pain. Pleased that even if he had known that such a day would come, Xiao Wu still could not face it calmly. Tears flashed in his crimson eyes. Ye Qiu would not let her go just because of this. Hands rise and fall. I let you lie to me. Snapped. A slap came down, hitting Xiao Wu's buttocks. Ah, it hurts. Don't hit me. Xiao Wu was pressed down on the dusty wooden bed and kept struggling. If you hit me again, Sister Xiao Wu will fight back. Xiao Wu made a sound. Ye Qiu's soul power was running low. Even if she was disabled, she was confident that she could defeat Ye Qiu. You still want to fight back? Ye Qiu sneered and raised his hand again to hit him hard. Then come and try. No. Seeing that the slap was about to fall on her delicate buttocks, she no longer just begged for mercy and waited for death. Xiao Wu immediately opened Ye Qiu's hand on the back of her neck. Ye Qiu's eyes also lit up for a while, and he quickly took 2 steps back. Humph. Just give it a try. Sister Xiao Wu defeated you today, so you are not allowed to. Ah, Ye Qiu, Xiao Wu said as she wanted to turn around, but unfortunately before she could finish her words and look at Ye Qiu clearly, she was hugged by Ye Qiu. Just as she was about to resist, 2 mechanical arms made her rise up from the ground. Ye Qiu hugged her and threw her directly on the bed. Ye Qiu, you, get up quickly and let go of Sister Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu's face turned red, and her hands kept waving wildly, trying to push Ye Qiu away who was sitting on her. It's a pity that Ye Qiu didn't get what she wanted. If you move around again, you won't be able to escape a severe beating when my soul power recovers. Don't you like to spank yourself? Then I will make you unable to get out of bed for several days. Ye Qiu frowned, looking at Xiao Wu who was beating continuously and trying to get up, and directly threatened him. No, I don't like fighting there. You are not allowed to fight Sister Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu was stunned for a moment, but he immediately reacted, and then begged for mercy. Sister Xiao Wu really knows that she was wrong. Okay, I won't fight there anymore. Ye Qiu sat on Xiao Wu's lap, leaning forward slightly, holding her shoulders with both hands, and nodded. Only then did Xiao Wu calm down. The 10,000 camera armor covering Ye Qiu's body also disintegrated. His soul power has been exhausted. There is some sweating on the forehead and the face is a little pale. Xiao Wu pulled the clothes on Ye Qiu's chest, pulled it twice, and asked carefully, Ye Qiu, are you okay? Haha. Thanks to you, Rabbit, it's no big deal. Ye Qiu took a few deep breaths and looked at her coldly, as if he wanted to swallow her whole. Ye Qiu, what do you want to do? Xiao Wu ignored Ye Qiu's address to him and looked at Ye Qiu with heart palpitations. She didn't know how Ye Qiu would bully her if he stopped beating her. Yeah, don't get so close. Ye Qiu ignored her, but slowly leaned down and held Xiao Wu's 2 arms that wanted to resist. Xiao Wu screamed and turned her face away. Ye Qiu leaned close to each other and stopped when the distance between the two was less than 5 centimeters and they could clearly feel each other's breathing. A bit of warm wind blew into the little rabbit's ears. Although it was not burning, it slowly painted it with a layer of pink. Time seemed to be blocked. Ye Qiu just looked at her quietly, with a little teasing in the corner of his mouth. Ye Qiu, what do you want? Ignoring her inquiry, he blew hot air on Xiao Wu's face from time to time. Even if it is stained with a little dust, the blush shining on the cheeks can still shine through. Ye Qiu, what are you going to do? Sister Xiao Wu knows you are wrong. Xiao Wu, who had been suppressed, finally couldn't bear it anymore. A brief line of tears actually squeezed out of the corner of her eyes, and she was about to reply as she spoke. He turned to look at Ye Qiu. Wu, before Xiao Wu could recover, Ye Qiu's sight in front of her quickly zoomed in, Xiao Wu's pupils suddenly trembled, and she looked at Ye Qiu in front of her without blinking, who was pressing her down. Two plump red lips were suddenly pressed into Ye Qiu's mouth, and their teeth almost touched each other. Xiao Wu was stunned, her heartbeat seemed to stop, let Ye Qiu bite his lips lightly, leaving marks like fish scales. The cheeks were bulging and shriveled, and their cheeks turned bright red. Ye Qiu was like a naughty child holding a box of jasmine tea that he drank through a straw, drinking it repeatedly without wasting a drop. It seemed like minutes, but it seemed like only seconds had passed. Ye Qiu finally sat up and looked at Xiao Wu, whose mouth was still slightly open and closed, with a glistening color flashing on her lips. He said calmly, since you, the rogue rabbit, like to take advantage of me so much, then I will take advantage of you once. After saying that, he let go of Xiao Wu, jumped out of bed, and pursed his lips. I don't know if it's because she often eats sweets, but her lips are soft, waxy, and actually have a little sweetness. Ye Qiu walked away and started looking for a rag and a basin to clean up the dirty nest. Xiao Wu, on the other hand, seemed to have not come back to consciousness yet, maintaining the original posture, blinking her eyes for a while, forgetting to shed tears just now. Her neck, face, and ears were all pink. She pursed her red lips, and the remaining breath in her mouth made the look on her face even more wonderful. No matter how dirty the wooden bed was, he just curled up with a red face, motionless and didn't know what to think. Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu's name was whispered in his mouth. She remembered clearly that this was the second time Ye Qiu bullied her like this. This time, she had no intention of resisting. I wish you all a happy life.